The next thing we like to discuss here real quick, Carol Murphy has been working on a letter writing campaign, so I'm going to let her go ahead and talk to her about one of her ideas for getting the vote out. Before we do that, I'm going to ask Ron to set up this DVD. I want you to see a small video. This has to do with our current congressman that's now in office, something he did several years ago. And this is something a lot of people are not aware of. And I want to make sure everybody actually sees this with your own eyes.
I'd like to recognize the following organizations that are here today for the press conference. Palm Springs Police Officers Association, Desert Hot Springs Police Officers Association, Cathedral City Police Officers Association, Indio Police Officers Association, PORAC, the Peace Officers Research Association of California, San Bernardino Police Officers Association, Corona Police Officers Association, retired special agents from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, representatives and president of the Riverside County Peace Officers Memorial Foundation, and former police chief of Palm Springs, Gary Gendron. Before we get started, I want to start with the audio file that was released of Dr. Raul Ruiz here in just a brief moment. This is a joint law enforcement association press conference to call out a few of the concerns that law enforcement has with the recent statements that were disclosed made by Dr. Raul Ruiz in his near recent past. We're defenders of the Constitution. We believe in everybody's right to peacefully protest, so long as it's peaceful. We support the Native Americans. We support anybody who wants to peacefully protest Thanksgiving Day or anything else. This is not about the protest, not about his activity in the protest. That is not what we're here for today. We're here to give a voice to law enforcement. We're here to give a voice to the families of the slain officers, and we want to address those concerns. Let me play the audio file for you once again in case you haven't heard it.
This makes me feel like I'm walking in the land of giants. Our Northern American cousins, we're walking in the land of giants. We're walking in the land of giants with the statue. We're walking in the land of giants with Mumia. We're walking in the land of giants with Leonard Peltier. We're walking with the land of giants with the Plymouth 25. We're walking in the land of giants with the little ones who came today and are bearing the wind. We are walking amongst the land of giants with all of you who have sustained the weather, the rain, our Mother Earth, and everything that is here around us.
I'm going to read from a brief prepared statement. We've come here today to express our continuing grave concerns with the past and present behavior of congressional candidate Raul Ruiz and his potential impact on law enforcement officers and their families. We have grown increasingly disturbed by Ruiz's past statements in support of men who murdered police officers and his efforts to gloss over these statements and their relationship to his character. Many officers throughout California were appalled by the audio file released last week that showed Raul Ruiz praising the notorious murderers Mumia Abu-Jamal and Leonard Peltier. Ruiz has admitted that this is an accurate recording. It is unquestionably anti-law enforcement in support of these convicted murderers. On this recording, Ruiz proclaims that he is proud to walk in the land of giants, like Mumia Abu-Jamal and Leonard Peltier. He labels police officers as part of the coffin the system represents. He proclaims Peltier to be a political prisoner who has suffered a grave injustice from the American judicial system. This is the same Leonard Peltier who was convicted of murdering 2 FBI agents, who told a cellmate that one of the agents begged for his life, but I shot him anyway. Mumia Abu-Jamal, who Ruiz also proclaims a giant, shot Philadelphia police officer Daniel Faulkner in the back, then proceeded to stand over the officer and fire four more times directly at him. These men are not giants. They are despicable. And to law enforcement officers, anyone who proclaims their innocence and calls these murders giants is despicable too. We are troubled that Raul Ruiz tried to brush off these revelations, saying he didn't remember until he was confronted with the evidence of his support for the murders of law enforcement officers. Once he was presented with undeniable evidence, Raul Ruiz is still trying to avoid taking responsibility by claiming that he was simply a young student that didn't know better. Ruiz was a college graduate who was in Harvard Medical School. He was not an uneducated teenager who accidentally got swept up in the moment. When Ruiz made these statements, he was 2 years older than Daniel Faulkner when he was gunned down by Mumia Abu-Jamal. He was only a year younger than the 2 FBI agents who were murdered by Leonard Peltier. These are not the exclamations of youth. They are the political proclamations of an adult who we believe very well knew the implications of his speeches. We cannot accept this kind of person to represent our interest in Congress. Raul Ruiz has left many of our questions unanswered. We would like to know. Why do you claim you could not remember your speeches in support of 2 cop killers until presented the evidence that you did? Have you reached out to any of the families of these 3 fallen officers to express your regret? What have you done to support law enforcement over the past 10 years to show evidence of your change in attitude towards police and the murderers you praised when you were 27 years old? These are serious questions that law enforcement officers throughout the Coachella Valley, California, and our nation want answered, Dr. Ruiz.
I was shocked to see this video of Raul Ruiz. My father was a Democrat, but I will never vote for a Democrat like Obama and Raul Ruiz that are pushing socialism and a radical agenda. Raul Ruiz is now mailing out conservative-sounding mailers and visiting veterans in hopes of deceiving the voters once again. Visit a tea party or start one. You don't need anybody's permission. God bless you and God bless America.
Pretty chilling, isn't it? That actually inspired me a few months ago to write an article. I like to write as well. So I wrote an article about this because the thing that just sticks in my craw is that he's 27 years old, he's in medical school, doctors are supposed to work on saving lives, and here he is just stoling these murderers and walking with them on the line protesting. And now he's, you know, we see him in his suit and his nice little smiling face, and he looks so innocent, and we know underneath he is not. So let's do everything we can to just replace him and send him back to the emergency room. Except I got thinking, what if he's on a death panel? Just a thought. Okay, I like to write, and so that kind of speaks to me. I attended a meeting the other day with Glenn and some of the other folks with the 2 young fellas that are organizing Nastandi's campaign, and they have all that information that Marilyn was talking about, that we need where to go, who to see, who to call. They have all this modern technology that is really amazing, and so they can do all that work. But walking, calling, and I'm looking at sort of all the gray hair people sitting at our table. And maybe you like to call and walk and all that, but I don't. So I said to Leland, I said, now is there something else we could do? And he said, well, you could write a friendly letter. Bingo. And he said, he gave me some verbiage about, you know, hi friend, neighbor, I'm really disappointed the way our country is going. I feel like I have to do something about it. Would you like to hear my opinion? If you don't want to hear any more, stop right here. So I thought, you know something? I think we could do that. I think everybody in here could do that. So to me, that's plan C. And so I'm making an assignment. I'm a former teacher, so your assignment is going to be to write a letter. And I have sort of a little campaign in my own mind. I'm starting a campaign called Friends for Freedom. And most of you have a copy of just sort of a model letter that I wrote. You can, if you really want to do this, you can just personalize it, of course, your own way. These are just some ideas, and it's kind of rough still. I haven't edited it a whole lot. I haven't had time. But I just thought, you know, think of the possibilities, because in my neighborhood, I'm just going to make hard copy letter. I'm going to put handwrite, just their name on there, and Ron and I are going to sign it from our household. Anyway, I think you should personalize it that way, handwriting it, and then maybe putting handwriting in the envelope, or however you want to do it. How else can we communicate with a letter? Come on, students.
Email.
Email. What else?
Phone.
Facebook.
Phone. And you can talk your letter, just, you know, shake hands. Facebook, you can put it on your Facebook page if you like to do that. I had another neat idea. Tonight, a lady came and said, you know, my husband just went to the post office and he found out you could buy postcards in bulk, and they're 38 cents, and that includes the postage. I mean, you could, you know, write your own little campaign thing and send it out. So I just figure, why don't we just make it snow in California with all these letters? So.
Yeah, I just want to throw in also, when these folks were here from Nestandi's campaign, they had mentioned that if you factor in the Republicans that voted for the other candidate.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Okay. Basically, what the folks from Nestandi said is if you factored in all of the people who voted in the primary, that there was only about 500 to 1,000 votes difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. So if we could just bring out another 1,000 or 2,000 votes, we could dethrone Ruiz.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we can do that. If you don't know the neighbor 4 doors down the street, well, I mean, suggest the neighbor you give it to that if they know, you know, maybe you could pass this letter on. I just really think it could happen, you know, everybody in their own little community. So I hope it catches on, I really do. Before I actually decided to do this little campaign here with our group, what inspired me was I went home that night and my email was from the Tea Party Patriots. You probably all know them, the national organization. And on there, lo and behold, was a letter from John Voight and the producer of the film America, and that was Jeremy Boring. And the Patriots let them use their website to get out a letter, of course, promoting the movie, but it was a really great letter. You have it there, most of you. I didn't put the pictures on there, but the letter's there. John Voight seems to be a very, very devout conservative and concerned about the country. And he was also on with Huckabee the other night. Again, he read his statement, so he just wanted to make sure he got it right. So I don't know, what do you think about that?
Carol,
Yes.
you know, I'm constantly getting those glossy big flyers from Ruiz. And I read up on him and I thought, no, but it annoys me and I have to tear them up and throw them away. So your idea about a personal letter, because you know how many households get that thing and just throw it in the recycle pile, don't even want to look at it, but if you get a letter from a neighbor, it means something. You know, even if they then don't want to vote that way, you cared enough to talk to them.
That's right.
That's how I see it. So I think it's a great idea.
Thank you for that. I just feel it in my heart that it could be good. Okay.
Okay.